Seattle Sounders. I can't believe some of the moves they made, but let's talk about it. Managed by Brian Schmetzer in year, what is it, 6 for him? I should have looked that up before we started.
Yeah, he's been going for a while.
Very unprofessional of us. How dare we?
I'll look it up right now while you keep talking.
Second in the West last season with 60 points, 17 wins, and 9 draws. I projected them out to be in a 4-3-3 like they usually are, with Fry in goal, rolled on the right, Yamar at center back with Sissoko and Arriaga, or Sissoko or Arriaga in the middle, depending on availability, and Nuhu Tolo out on the left. Then you've got João Paulo with Josh Atencio kind of rotating in when they need. Excuse me. I think we left off the midfield before Grace rudely interrupted us.
Yeah.
You got João Paulo, of course, an MLS MVP candidate, with Atencio kind of rotating in, getting some minutes. Ladero and Rusnak in the two kind of attacking midfield roles. Morris on the left, Roldan on the right, Rui Diaz up top. I'm not quite sure what shape they're going to come out in. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of attacking center mid winger type combinations you can throw out here, and I'm just not quite sure how they're going to do it. But I think it's quite clear they improved this window. You've brought back most of the team that got you to top 2 in the West, a very difficult West, might I add, last year. And then you added one of the best attacking playmakers in the Western Conference in Albert Rusnak. Yeah, definitely improved. What do you think?
Yeah, hard to disagree there. Plus, it's not exactly an addition, but getting Jordan Morris back for hopefully the whole season is also massive for them.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. One of the things I didn't really take into account until after I had prepped it all was you've got Aaron Long, Jordan Morris, players that you hadn't seen all year that are now going to be technically additions because you didn't see them for an entire year, which will be exciting. Who do they need? All right. They basically brought everybody back, but what do they need to improve on?
I'm curious. It's hard to say for sure because I don't know exactly how they're going to line up. If they go with a 5 in the back again, I would say they need someone on the left, most likely, because Brad Smith isn't here anymore. So it's kind of open. I know that there are guys that can play there. I'm pretty sure Nuhu can play out there. And I don't know if Jimmy Madronda played on the left or if he was rotating.
He was a left-sided guy. Yeah.
Madronda played well. I don't know if he's your guy to be your out-and-out starter, but that's definitely an open spot there. And then if they were to play with 2 midfielders, I mean, they could go with obviously João Paulo is going to play, but potentially that other midfield spot could be open depending on what they want to do. I don't know if they want to go with Josh Atencio or someone else, some other young midfielder. So I think more so for me, the question is if they go 5 in the back, who's going to be the left wing back? Is it going to be Nuhu? Is it going to be Madronda? Is it going to be someone else they bring in? But that's, I feel the spot where they could solidify a little bit more. But otherwise, this team is so well-rounded, it's hard to pick.
That's exactly
what they need.
That's exactly what I said. I go, their midfield set, you got Rui Diaz up top with either Will Bruin or Montero off the bench. That's pretty good. If you want to throw either one of them up there, they can pair together. But that outside back spot on the left is a little open. Not terribly open, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
Best addition. I mean, Rusnak was really the only one they made. Biggest loss. Brad
Easy
Smith.
choice.
Yeah, Brad Smith was their biggest loss, right?
Feels like the only player they lost too.
Exactly. Sure there wasn't a lot of movement in this team.
They didn't need it. They didn't need a lot of movement. This team is so talented.
Why fix what isn't broken, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I want you to pick one player.
One player to watch. Jordan Morris, easy one for me. I want to see how he comes back this year. after missing basically the entire season last year. Obviously, we know how talented and fantastic he can be. I mean, you talked about it when he went off to Swansea about how he was the guy where once he left, that changed everything for Seattle. That didn't end up being the case really because that Seattle just seems to be super flexible and great at balancing the players that they have. But
Right.
I
Master is a wizard.
yes, but I still think that Seattle is. Um, I still think that Jordan Morris is incredibly talented and needed for this team, and if he stays healthy, I think this is a big year for him.
I agree. Um, I said Josh Atencio or Danny Leva or Reed Baker Whitting, any of those guys who are like 16 and 18, getting looks from Prem teams and stuff like that, see what type of impact they're going to make. I know Atencio played a good amount last year, so did Leva a little bit. So any of those guys, I'm interested to keep an eye on. But the biggest question for me with this team, and I mentioned it earlier in the segment, how in the heck are you going to fit the front six of Roldan, João Paulo, Rusnak, Morris, Ladero, Rui Diaz all together in one system, right? You figure that out, you're not losing a game all year. But that's a tough puzzle to put together.
Yeah, my biggest question was kind of along similar lines. Mine was more so, what are they going to do with Nico Ladero? I kind of, at the moment, I kind of almost feel like they're going to play him as a super sub. And seeing as how he hasn't played a ton lately, obviously he's still incredibly talented, but is getting up there in age and battling some injuries. So I kind of almost figure he would be more useful as almost like an Ilsinho, just like super sub off the bench to be that creative piece late in games if they need a goal. And I think Rusnak probably comes in is more so the starter, but that's just my guess. I mean, it's my question for a reason because I don't know for sure.
I'm sorry, who did you compare him to?
Ilsinho,
Who?
your favorite player, Ilsinho,
Who?
the
Never
one
heard,
that torments Red Bull,
never heard of him.
still torments Red Bull,
I don't know what you're talking about.
living rent free in your head.
Clearly not, because I don't know who it is, but um yeah, no, I think that'd be very interesting to see. One of them is probably going to get dropped. So who
Yep.
it is would be interesting. All right, give me a range. Where are they finishing?
I think they got to finish either like I'm thinking first through third in the West.
Right.
I can't see them dropping any lower than that.
Yep, I got them top three.